Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now here's your host, Jen Cares.
Good evening. And I have to stop saying good evening because I also share this with my audio listeners. So hello, all of my chosen friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Jen Cares, the live podcast powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so very much for tuning in on this evening or whatever time you do tune in. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting and supporting the cause. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you. I want to say thank you to all of our amazing guests from January's Surviving Life series. Thank you to Tarisha Parker, Leon Harris, Sandra Atkinson, and therapist Tiff. Such a great series to kick off the new year. And tonight, a new month begins. Welcome to February, and this month's theme is Love, Me, Myself, and I. The goal is to highlight some areas that help us to love on us just a little bit more. But first, I want to start off with our Black History Highlight. Tonight's Black History Highlight is Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph made history as a Black female athlete at the 1960 Summer Olympics in Rome, Italy. The 20-year-old Tennessee State University sprinter was the first African-American woman to win 3 gold medals at one Olympics. Rudolph's heroics in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 4x100-meter events only lasted seconds, but her legend persists decades later, despite her untimely 1994 death from cancer at the age of 54. Wilma Rudolph was a sickly child who had to wear a brace on her left leg. She overcame her disabilities to compete in the 1956 Summer Olympic Games, and in 1960, she became the first African American as well, but she became the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in track and field at a single Olympics. Later in life, she formed the Wilma Rudolph Foundation to promote amateur athletics. Rudolph is remembered as one of the fastest women in track and a source of great inspiration for generations of athletes. She once stated, "Winning is great, sure, but if you are really going to do something in life, the secret is learning how to lose. Nobody goes undefeated all the time. If you can pick up after a crushing defeat and go on to win again, you are going to be a champion someday." She said her doctor told me I would never walk again. My mother told me I would. I believed my mother. So thank you, Wilma Rudolph, for pursuing your dreams and helping generations to come. All right, as you can see, I'm trying to get fancy over here with these little clapping up for Wilma. Woo! All right, so as shared, this month's theme is love, me, myself, and I. And I figured it was just the good time to talk about working out. Why? Because we said we was going to do something in January, actually probably say December, November. 2022 going to be the year. I'm not getting on nobody. We all mess up sometimes. But let's share some things that I found. According to RX Resource, less than 5% of adults participate in 30 minutes of physical activity each day. Less than 5. Wow. Only 1 in 3 adults receive the recommended amount of physical activity each week. We're not doing too good over here, huh? Only 35 to 44% of adults 75 years or older are physically active. It says 28 to 34% of adults ages 65 to 74 are physically active. And this is on an upper scale of older, young folk. They're older, young, but it's still the same for us if we have less than 5%, right? It says statistics about exercise reveal that regular physical activity lowers the risk of diabetes by almost 50%. Friends, We know it's best to stay active, but sometimes we lose it. Many of us do struggle with it. But our guest tonight is a friend that I found on actually Instagram. And I was watching one of her videos and I was like, I gotta schedule some stuff. I gotta do some stuff. I gotta do better. You know, it's bittersweet of having someone that knows what they are doing. I'm sorry, it's bittersweet joy of having someone that knows what they are doing, push you to be the best version of you. And that's what she's going to do. Though it's bittersweet, it's going to help us to be the best version of us. YouTube can teach us a gazillion things, and many creators are on those platforms to help us. But we scroll past it. Tonight, don't scroll past, because she's going to help us out. So help me welcome Kalene Parker, Working Out. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Now I'm sounding like TD Jakes. Woo!
Hi.
Hey,
Hey.
Kalene! How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Oh, I'm excited, I guess. You know, it's bittersweet because you're going to tell us some stuff that we
All
need to
helpful
do.
things, though.
And that's the best part, because again, the more we know, the more we grow, right?
Absolutely.
So we're gonna work it
Absolutely.
out. We're gonna work it out. So over here at Jen Cares, we like to start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is: never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. Again, never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. And that comes from our Black History fact of the day with Wilma Rudolph. What are your thoughts on that?
When I first saw it, so it was actually when you reached out to me and it was attached to that, I was kind of just like, huh. It's like very thought provoking. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like a mental reset, like make things like pretty simple, like you, wherever you want to go in life, that's kind of like a good foundation to have to kind of get there.
Yes, yes. And I think sometimes we underestimate the power that we sometimes have. Even Wilma
Mhm.
Rudolph, I never knew that, she had some trouble with walking and things. This woman was a sprinter in the
I
fastest.
didn't either. When you said that, I was like, "Oh, I just learned something
Yeah.
new."
So that's what we're planning to do tonight. We're going to learn something new to help us. But
Yeah.
also, like, not understanding the power that we have and the power of what comes out of our mouths. Because the doctor said, oh, you'll never walk. But her mama said, you'll walk, and she believes her mother. So finding somebody that you
Absolutely.
believe that's going to speak life into you, don't underestimate that power. So good, so
Mhm.
good. So, chosen friends, as always, I have prepared some questions to guide tonight's topic. But if you have any questions, any comments, be sure to drop them below and we'll bring it into the conversation. So, first, as always, we like to start off with Kalene, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So again, my name is Kaylin. I am 26 years old. I'll be 27 in like 3 weeks. So coming on up into that. I am originally from Columbia, South Carolina, but I currently reside in Charleston. I moved down here for undergrad. A little bit about me outside of fitness and outside of personal training. So I formerly used to dance. I actually got my minor in dance in college. So I love performing arts. Love like musical theater, love seeing different things on stage. I actually have a music background as well. So I grew up playing two instruments. I played piano and clarinet for a very long time, which has nothing to do with fitness. Like most people would never know that if they didn't like have a conversation with me. So I'm pretty musically inclined. I have some rhythm there. And I love cooking. I love to go to the beach. I live here in Charleston, so right on the coast. And just like spending time with friends and family. I'm very family oriented. I'm also a professional napper. I love to take naps, which comes in handy, with training and getting up early mornings.
Yes.
And I like trying like new foods. I'm a huge foodie. Being in the South, there's tons of great places to eat. So I'm all about trying all those new different things. And I also love traveling. So
Yes.
anytime I can get an opportunity to go somewhere new or try like a new restaurant, try like a new excursion, new activity, like I'm all about all of that. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm your typical girly girl, like shopping, like doing like, pampering self-care stuff. So outside in the gym, I'm pretty gritty, but outside of it, there's a softer side to me there.
Awesome. Like that mean that you that strong force in the gym, but outside I was like, hey, yes, let's be a foodie, but when we in the gym, we're gonna work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's balance. It's about balance.
I love it. I love it. Slightly a little jelly about the instruments that you have. My mom played the organ, keyboard, and piano, and I
Okay.
tried to learn. It just didn't work out very well. That's the one thing I wish that I probably did learn.
It takes a little bit of patience and like just sitting there to learn it. So I did that for about 11 years actually.
Wow.
So yeah,
I'm gonna try. I probably gave up on that dream.
it's okay.
But I'm
It's
glad that you know
okay.
how to do it. I could just call on you to be like, hey, can you play?
Well, it's been a minute. I'm a little rusty. I can still read music. I can still play some general pieces, but
Okay.
it might take me a bit longer. But I still have it. I might need to look into that and see if I still, can do some things on there.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to Mama Wanda. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. She said, I'm here to learn something new. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She said, professional napper. I like her. Naps are good even as an adult. You didn't realize how fun they really were.
Yes. As a kid, you avoid them. You're like, I don't want to. But now I'm like, please, when can I find a minute to just close my eyes?
Yes. Oh, goodness. Professional napper. I'll put that on my resume.
Yes.
Somebody might hire me for it. I don't know.
They might.
So when sharing that, you shared that a bunch of different things that you do, which is so amazing to stay balanced and stay open to different experiences so that one thing doesn't overwhelm you. But you said you went to school for dance and things. So what was your dream job when you first was like pursuing, like in high school, you were thinking, I'm going to do this. What was like the dream?
So I actually wanted to be a pediatrician. I thought that med school and being a doctor was going to be my life path. I have an uncle that's a physician, and just kind of being surrounded by a lot of people who had similar dreams. And essentially, the ultimate idea was I want to help people. So at that time, I was like, this is the only way I can help people when they're sick. I'm so caring, and then I love kids, so I can work with kids in this aspect too. So I went to college, and my first semester, I was a biology major, and some classes in, I was like, whoop, this is not for me. So my second semester freshman year, I made the switch to exercise science. And honestly, at that time, I had no idea even what that was. I was just like, oh, well, it's still in the sciences and it's exercise. So like, this should be easy. Like no issue there. So dream job, wanted to be a doctor. But life took me on a very, very different path. But it's still kind of in the same, I guess, like realm as like helping people with health. Essentially, it's like I'm kind of like the first person you kind of want to get to before you have to get to the doctor because you need them. So, I see it in the same caliber there. And then, I got my minor in dance performing or dance education.
Awesome. Cool. It's funny as you said that, I thought of our theme, and it's love, me, myself, and I. And sometimes so you have something in mind because it's all around you, being able to choose you to find what it is that you enjoy. Because, we could go to school all day I'm not going to be a doctor. I can't do that. That's not my field. She knows that for sure. But I could go to school for it. And if I don't love it, if my passion's not into it, I might not be a great doctor. My bedside manner might be like, just go take a nap, be a professional napper. You'll be better. That's not the answer to everything.
Right.
So I love that love piece of you loving you enough to say, okay, this is not what I like. Let me change. And that's a big part of loving on ourselves a little bit more, of knowing what works best for Kalene. Does she really want to go to school for this? Or can she master this? Because sometimes those classes are a bit hard. I have a friend, she's like, this math class is beat my butt. I said, you got it. Just a couple more weeks, But
it was rough. College was rough. I'm not going to lie to you. It was rough. Yeah. We got through it though, by the grace of God.
Yes. My favorite show is A Different World, and they make it seem like college was amazing. They just talk about the social part of it. You kind of see the classroom. I love it still. But when you get there, it's like, oh, it's a little different. 8 o'clock class, I gotta be up. Wait a minute, huh?
Yes.
That finding your way.
Yes.
So I see what motivated you to go into the science. Well, this different kind of science, that the doctoral science. So what motivated you once you got into that to know that, okay, I found my place?
It was actually, I think, my sophomore year. It was an introduction to concepts of fitness class, or concepts of like exercise programming. So that class in itself was almost like an introductory class if you wanted to potentially become a personal trainer. You don't have to go to college to be a trainer. Of course, you just have to get certified. But having like the background in exercise science gives you like a plethora of knowledge to kind of be a step ahead of those that just kind of go study the test and get certified randomly. So that class, like we were doing different fitness assessments. We were learning how to test like your 1 rep max when it comes to lifting. We were like on the machines where you test your VO2 max. You're like wearing this gas mask essentially, and you're running as fast as you can on the treadmill just to kind of see how much oxygen output you have, to kind of see like what is the most oxygen I can output at like the highest intensity rate of my heart. So like that stuff was like, oh, this is interesting. I, wasn't sitting in a boring classroom. Like we had lectures, but it was more hands-on. It was more kind of interactive. And I like that kind of stuff. I don't like sitting at a computer, sitting at a desk is like not really my vibe when it comes to work. So the class was super interesting. And then I took a sports nutrition class, which was kind of learning about, how athletes need to nourish themselves to be able to perform. And so that class was super interesting. And then also the fact that I still got to learn about anatomy, physiology, and like the way the body moves and just like overall body functions. But it wasn't like so in depth where it's like, you have to learn this to be able to like operate on somebody. I'm like, I don't want to learn that. But just knowing it in general to be able to like help someone with like movement or understanding nutrition, that stuff interests me. And that was kind of why I stuck it out, because the classes did get harder. I actually had to take chemistry, physics, I had to take biomechanics, like all these other, like some of the sciences I really didn't understand why, but it was just required. So did love that aspect of it, but like the specific exercise science, like major courses, loved all of those.
Yes. Awesome. So I got a little harder, but you stuck it out, you kept to it, and that's a good thing. So in this field that you went into for your schooling, would that be like in the realm of like a physical therapist as well?
Yeah, so a lot of students that major in exercise science will either choose physical therapy, occupational therapy. There's also a lot of people that go into nursing, or they'll also be like PAs. So
got it. And I say that to say like that's so just as important almost as being a doctor. You break a bone. Now we need you to like pass the baton to of the movement and things of that sort. What would be good, and knowing that background of it helps somebody to not exert themselves too much where they damage it again, but they can still be on that way to healing.
Right. Exactly.
Pretty cool. So you said you're a professional nabber. What does your typical day look like where you get all these naps? I'm just wondering.
Woo! Well, especially this year, and I would say probably the last like 2 years or so, I'm training at 5 a.m. So I'm getting up at 4. I set my first alarm at 4 a.m. and then the second one at 4:15. So I was like, I got to get up at 4:15. And then I'm like training clients like all morning long. Usually I'm done by like 10, 11 o'clock. And so at that point, I've been up since before the birds were awake. So, it's super dark. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I need to like just take a quick nap to like reset, because sometimes like it's 10:30 and it feels like it's 2 p.m. because I've been up since 4. So just like training super early mornings and then coming home and like, with doing my own business stuff, like admin tasks. I also have a part-time job too. So then have to like go do stuff for that. So my naps, I try to fit in like either midday, some days, like today I've been up since 4 a.m. I have not taken a nap yet today. So I'm good though. I'm actually feeling very energized. So
cool. That's because you was working out.
Exactly. Yes.
We might feel energized. She always getting us like, dang, okay. We're gonna work on it. Got it. So 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, I like the second alarm. I'm not gonna tell you how many alarms I set because sometimes I want to get up, sometimes I don't.
No judgments. I don't judge.
But we're grateful for that snooze and the option to set multiple, because before the little alarm clock, you just had like them 2 times. If you're not up, and if you didn't set it, you're really in trouble.
Right.
But this is pretty cool. So with the personal trainer, what is like your training style where you start so early? How long is a session? How long should a session be? And let's start there.
Yeah. So sessions can vary, and with different trainers, you can choose whatever's going to work best for you. So some trainers do 30 minutes, some do 45, some do an hour, some do 2 hours. So I do an hour with my clients, and the way that I kind of like lay out the sessions, you come in, you're going to have your warm up for whatever, movement patterns are working for that day. Then you always want to start with your largest muscle group movement. So compound lifting, so like squats, lunges, deadlifts, things like that. And then we move on to, upper body, core, more accessory style movements. And then we end with the finisher, which is going to be like that cardio segment. So most of my training sessions are going to be strength and conditioning. Now, I do have some sessions where it might just be straight conditioning for that day, but the overall goal is to kind of build strength, to kind of work on building that muscle mass on top of working on cardiovascular endurance. And then we stretch and cool down at the end. And that when we're on time and like things are running smoothly, can take up about an hour. And then, most people some train twice a week, some train 3 times a week. So it kind of gives us the opportunity to be able to hit different parts of the body on different days. So that way they have enough time to rest and recover. And then we do it all over again the next week.
Got it. Ooh, couple questions, because you said some Greek words, not really English.
That's okay.
So I first want to ask about the importance of warm up, but then I also want to ask about strength and conditioning, because what's that? Like strengthening and conditioning your hair? What you doing?
Right.
So for the warm up, why is that important? Why should one do that? Let's start there and then go to strength and conditioning.
Sure. So warm up is extremely important for one number one reason: you don't want to injure yourself. You don't want to get hurt while you're trying to obviously build your body up to be healthy. So the warm up gets the blood flowing, it gets your muscles like loose in a manner that will allow you to be able to move in the movement pattern, whatever it is that you're doing. It also helps you with your performance. So when you are like warming up, you do get the opportunity to kind of work on some different imbalances. So sometimes you might have one side of your body that's a little bit tighter than the other, where you don't have as much range of motion with that shoulder, with that hip, whatever it is. The warm up gives you a chance to kind of work on it. So it's almost like if you were going to physical therapy and you're like going through rehab and you're kind of working out the kinks and some things to be able to move better. That's what the warm up provides you. And then, of course, like I said, to prevent injury. Now the strength and conditioning part. So the strength part, it's essentially just like working on building up your muscle, working on building up muscular endurance. If you know, your goal is like physique, like working on, you know, shaping yourself. And then the conditioning aspect of it is kind of where you're going to be burning like a lot of calories, which you still burn just as many calories lifting weight. So don't want to get anyone confused there. But the conditioning aspect is more for your heart, more for like that lung capacity. And the strengthening is obviously more for your muscles and your bones to kind of couple all of those together to like get the big picture overall.
So it's a science to this thing. It's not just going out and saying, hey, I did something. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, gym memberships, I don't say dime a dozen, but like, you know, Planet Fitness is like worldwide. It's just $10 a month. You're like, yeah, I'm doing something. And they're open 24 hours. But somehow my schedule and their schedule still just didn't click. Because I don't know why. You know, you'll go and you'll think that you're doing something great, or you went and you was like, yes, I did something. But if it's not, sometimes it sounds like, or sounding like it should be so directed to be doing something so that you're not just going there and it's not yielding results. And sometimes people can get frustrated with that. But it's like, well, I've been to the gym, I've been working out, but I don't see nothing. Like, it's wasting my money. And then, so let's speak on that. How does that, you know, work? What's the one? It's expectations, obviously, because like we feel like we went to the gym today, tomorrow I'm supposed to be a size 5. What? I don't know. Is size 5 is a size, because I ain't never seen that number before. But what's that part of, you know, going and really having something in mind? Because like with a trainer, obviously you're directing and guiding the person. But for that blind person that's just going out there saying, look, Kalene, I've been going to the gym. I thought I could do it on my own, and I'm not seeing nothing. What's happening?
Yeah, so that's actually a really great question, and also a reason why if you do have the luxury to be able to afford a personal trainer, why it's a good investment to make. Yes, there is a science behind it, which again is like why exercise science, or if you have a background in kinesiology, it really does help you as a trainer if that's the, you know, career path you want to take. But to speak on that point, so, you know, when it comes just to kind of overall like developing like your aerobic health, like kind of just keeping your heart rate up and getting movement in, sure. But if you're looking to actually gain results, actually like lose body fat, kind of sculpt your muscles, like grow, everyone wants to have big glutes, big legs, small tummy, whatever, you know, sculpted arms. You do have to kind of program your way to progress there. So you have to know what muscle groups to work. You also have to know like what exercises are going to work those muscles. So, you know, if I want to have defined abs, or if I want to have larger glutes, or if I want to have, you know, big biceps, what movements do I need to do to kind of work on those things? So a lot of times, you know, even when I'm doing my own workouts, I don't do my own workouts in the gym that I train in, but if I work out at this gym called O2 Fitness down here. And so when I go there, sometimes I'll just see people doing like random things that are just like,
it looks good to make you feel like you did something.
Yes. And it's like you're sweating and your heart rate's up. So then you're like, oh, I worked out. But case in point, sweat is actually zero indication that you're burning any calories or burning any fat. It just means that you're hot. It just means you're hot. It just means your internal body temperature has increased, and sweat is your body's natural cooling source. So yeah, a lot of people think like, oh, I sweated, like I burned a lot of fat, I burned calories. Unfortunately, they have no correlation. It's just you're hot.
You know, and it's funny because like I'll see a YouTube video and she's like, yeah, I got all the sweat, and then one time I'm done, I'm like, I didn't sweat though. You don't know if it's good or if it's bad, but it's like she was just hot. I don't know how many hours she did it before she finally did that video, but I was like, okay, but that's interesting to know. It doesn't mean nothing, so it's okay if you don't have it. Like you feel your heart rate changing, and eventually you see the benefits again, not from that one day, continuously and things that sort. But
Yes. And so then when you are actually following like a structured program for the goals that you have. So say, for example, someone might be a bodybuilder. Their goals are going to obviously going to be very different for someone that is a soccer player or for someone that, wants to lose, 50 pounds. So they can't work out the same way because they have different goals. And so the purpose of like finding like a structure into something is to like have it set up for you to get the results that you want.
Yeah.
So, if I'm trying to do a powerlifting competition and be like one of the strongest people in the world, I'm going to have to be doing like more progressive loading. And so the reason why you want to have a plan is so that way you can like track your progress throughout. So for most exercise plans, you want to progress yourself either 4 to 6 weeks at a time. You work on the same movement patterns, the same exercises for about 4 to 6 weeks, and you kind of like gradually increase your weight load. You kind of increase your time and your distance when it comes to different things like conditioning, like running or cycling and things like that. Then in your next 6 weeks, you'll add on a bit more to kind of just like gradually build it up.
So you messing us up again, because what happened was I went and I did the 25 and I felt strong doing it. So I was like, let me do 30, let me do 35, let me do 40. And then you go too fast because that's what normally happens, because you just blindly going to the gym like, yeah, I went to the gym today. I did that. Oh, but you just randomly adding weights.
Baby steps. And then you never want to like go too far up because say, okay, someone starts off using a 10-pound dumbbell. I would never be like, okay, well, next week we're going to start using a 40-pound dumbbell. No, you want to like increase little by little. So probably between 5 to 10 pounds. So go from 10 to 12 and then 12 to 15s and then, so on and so forth. So again, like having a structured plan allows you the structure and organization for you to be able to progress at the level that you're at. Because again, everyone's not at the same level. So you want to kind of meet yourself where you're at, or trainers and coaches, you meet your client where they're at. And then over time, you gradually just kind of start to add more things in. And then again, some people progress faster than others. It just kind of depends on your athletic background. It depends on like kind of your genetics, the way that, you might be losing weight faster than the next person, or you might pick up on something faster than the next person. So again, it has to be structured and catered to you so that you will be successful. Because when people try to progress or just do random things and it's not catered to them, you can get discouraged if you're not seeing the results, or if you just like aren't getting it right away. It's like still a challenge for you. It can become discouraging. So it's like, start here. There's levels to this, essentially. Like you got to start where you're at and then gradually build this progress.
So, and speaking of that, what is the normal, or what's a general time frame for somebody to say, I've been working out this much or this period of time, and I am now seeing results and things of that sort? Because again, that is a big frustration, I think, where we think we're so into the microwave, mentality of, I did it. Hey, I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to wake up and be this. And that doesn't always work out. But steady wins the race, gradually doing it and being consistent. So what's the components for one, being consistent? Because if we're not being consistent, you can't really expect miracles and things that sort. It's not gonna be miraculous. But what's the piece of being consistent for however many days for this period of time, and you'll start to see like the benefits? What's that look like?
So it varies, but I will say, as far as the consistency piece goes, 21 to 30 days to like build a habit, to build a routine. Now, I'm not going to say that you will see results in those 21 to 30 days, but I think giving yourself like and actually hitting every single day consecutively for whatever it is that you're doing, 21 to 30 days is usually a pretty good time frame to kind of start building a good habit. And most times I've had clients where they worked out for like, a couple of weeks and they'll already start to just feel the benefits of exercise. They might not see any results right away, but it starts kind of internally within. Sleep gets a little bit better. Energy levels are a bit higher. Skin might clear up a little bit more. They just have a little bit more pep in their step. And then kind of like as you go on, then you'll kind of start to see those results. Now, genetics play a huge role in that. Again, like your overall fitness ability, your athleticism plays another role as well. So there's no like true timeline to just definitively say, okay, you will start to see results after X amount of months or X amount of days. It just varies per person. But I will say, if you give yourself 21 to 30 days to stick to a consistent routine, you will start to feel the benefits of exercise like almost immediately.
Got it. Now, friends, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Because just like there's pyramid schemes to get money and things of that sort, sometimes you feel like it's pyramid schemes to lose weight. Take these pills, do this shake, do that, do this fast, do this. Don't eat for 25 days and you're going to be, what is the, and I'm not knocking it, friends. I'm not knocking it. What I'm saying is sometimes people do them or we do them and then it yields results. But then once we stop them, because it costs money to keep that up, it feels like your money was in vain because it didn't work. So what's the thinking of like protein shakes and supplements and things of that sort? Maybe not solely leaning on them, but using them every so often, but also being mindful of the pills or injections that people do to be able to have this energy to just make this stuff disappear.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. So let me see, where do I want to start? Let's start with supplements first. So I do take supplements. I take protein, and that's normal. You could eat protein and chicken, etc. So the benefit of supplements are to literally fill in the gaps where you do not get that nutrients from eating like whole food, eating real food. So it's really meant to just kind of fill in the gaps the same way you would take a multivitamin or you would take, vitamin C if you're not getting enough of it from eating food. So you want to just have an understanding of like what the supplement is, why you need the supplement, like what's the goal. For me, I do a lot of strength training. So protein helps to build muscle and also recover muscle. So I will have a protein shake or eat a protein bar maybe once every couple of days. It's not every single day because I try to prioritize that in my food. So eating, chicken and eggs and things like that. Now, when it comes to other supplements, which they have like fat burning pills and they have all these different detox things, just being mindful of it because again, they're not regulated by anything. So you don't know what materials, what substances you're actually consuming. And a lot of times it's just like synthetic. You're going to excrete it when you go to the bathroom and it does nothing for your body. Also just kind of being mindful of, yes, there are companies and there are influencers and celebrities and things like that. They will prey on the ignorance that people don't know any information about this stuff. And it's just marketing. So a really tiny, person can promote this thing and say, okay, I use it for whatever. It's like, no, they're just posing for this product they've never used. So I will say, ask questions. If you're looking at someone and they're promoting a product, ask a bunch of questions. For me, the only thing I really recommend to my clients to take a protein supplement, of course, because most people do not get enough protein just from eating the food. And then the ones that get up early morning, pre-workout, which is just a caffeine supplement. So I'm like, I take pre-workout, just kind of give me some more energy throughout the day or before a workout. But those are like the only supplements that I take, and occasionally like a multivitamin, just to kind of get some more stuff in there. But you really don't need supplements. Like we gotta eat good food. And now as far as like injections and things like that go, like just stay far away from that stuff because it's dangerous. You don't know, again, what's in it. It's not regulated and they're not telling you any of that information. And most people are not going to go read the ingredients. So it's just kind of like having like the understanding of, okay, unless you have some genetic issues, some health issues, some hormone imbalances, 9 times out of 10, you can achieve the results that you want from good nutrition and moving your body more. And that's just to save you some coin too, because again, it'll last temporarily. And most of the time, the weight that you're losing is just water weight. You're not actually burning fat, because what happens, like you said, when you get off of it and you start going about your normal routine again, you gain that weight almost immediately because it was literally just water. You didn't burn any fat.
And I think that's the challenge. And again, not knocking it, because you do see where people have, really done good, built up some, systems and things of eating a little bit better and things that are. But then if they stop taking that supplement, then I just, you don't want to be you don't want to be relying on supplement for the rest of your life. You want to be able to be like, oh no, I just want to, do good. And I think you just don't want to have to rely. I don't want to have to rely. I wouldn't want to have to rely on it, because
it's like medication, essentially. Like when people have to take pills forever to, keep something going or regulating, if you have to rely on a supplement, it's like, is it really helping you, or are you kind of using it more of like a crutch? So
and then like, people and again, health reasons cause us to do the different things that we have to do. And it's really good to talk to the doctor to know what you should be doing, shouldn't be doing, because surgeries and different things of that sort. Again, what works for you works for you. Just knowing that whatever you do try, whatever you do, it still takes work on the other end of it. That's what I'm really trying to say.
Yep.
Because you can really lose on some of these things. I've seen, people do it. And I've seen people stop taking it, and then you can see a different way. I've seen where people kept taking it, but you can stop taking it and still maintain as long as you are doing the work. You're being consistent. Whatever 21 days it is to keep yourself on that track of doing what you need to do. And again, friends, I just want us to, not go broke that way. Go buy yourself a bag. Go buy yourself a candle. Yes. Go buy yourself that hat you want. I don't know, whatever it is.
And just to be safe too, because it can, depending on what you're taking and like what the company is and what's inside of it, it can do more damage than good. So
got it. Yeah, because they don't do the fine print. It's like the commercials they used to have telling my age of side effects may include blah, 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 blah. They're going real fast.
Yep.
And I can talk fast, but they saying stuff. I was like, I don't know what that is. I need to research that to find out what that is. And I gotta
exactly.
It's almost like in the Bible, you search a scripture, you go to look at one scripture, it gives you like 3 examples. You go look at those 3, it's like 25 examples from those 3. You gotta keep on going. That's what you gotta do to figure out what it is to know if it's good or not for you.
Yep.
And we don't do that enough. Even in the stuff that we buy, we're like, oh, this is a new fad. Let me try it out. And all I'm trying to do is saying on loving ourselves, we're being mindful of what we're putting in ourselves.
Yep.
All she's saying. So I saw some nutrition videos that you have. You're cooking and things of that sort. Let's talk about that. Why is what you eat so important?
So food is fuel, food is nourishment, food is medicine, but food can also be very detrimental to our health if we are not consuming the right things. So we know we live in a country that is mass production of processed foods, high saturated fat, high sugar, and things like that. And so you just want to be mindful of consuming a high caliber of those products simply because over time, our body is not made to digest those things. Our body does not recognize those synthetic chemical processed ingredients. It recognizes fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and, those good carbohydrates like whole grains and sweet potatoes and things like that. So my rule of thumb, if Mother Nature grew it, if it produced from the earth, it is okay to eat. I know we have different people that, want to be vegan or vegetarian for different reasons, and that's fine. I eat meat because meat grew from a live living thing. If it was once living, we can consume it. Unless you have like an allergy or something. But yeah, processed things, it's a lot of chemicals. Like if you ever go look at labels, when you go down the packaged food aisles for like snacks and things like that, look at the food label and look at the ingredients. A lot of times, a lot of words most of us can't pronounce. Like you said before about the synthetic injections and supplements, you don't even know what it is. You have to go look it up and like, what is this thing? And just kind of being mindful of like different labels. But yeah, food is honestly the thing that can kind of either keep us alive or kill us in like a very plainly put way. And it's killing a lot of people out here because they are eating a lot of ingredients that their body does not need at a very, very high caliber. And that's doing that over time. So from that, your body is just kind of like taking it and storing it. And that's kind of what builds up the body fat. And then over time, now you've reached like this weight and you're like, oh my gosh, like what has happened? Or you have the chemicals, ingredients that, can not produce cancer, but it like could cause cancer. It can have like a direct correlation, or obviously a lot of sugar can induce diabetes or clogged arteries. It can raise up your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels. So it's like eating certain things like have a negative effect internally. Like you got to be mindful of that, including like things like dairy. Like a lot of people are lactose intolerant. Like it can mess up your gut lining, and a lot of our health and immune system comes from having like a healthy gut ecosystem. So it's not just about trying to like have a certain physique and look a certain way. Certain foods that we eat literally are like breaking down our organs. It's breaking down like our internal body systems. And so it's like, you should be eating, of course, enjoy yourself. I'm not saying not, because every now and then there's balance, sure. But overall, majority of what you should be consuming should be life-giving, which are, fruits, vegetables, lean meats, things that were once living, which include plants, things that were, you could literally find from Mother Nature.
Got it. Now, friends, I waited till February because the holidays are over now. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all that. Our friend here is trying to help us. We have a question. Phil said, what advice would you give people who want to eat better but can't afford to eat better?
That is a great question. So first things first, I would kind of start with like laying out like what your budget is. A lot of times there is a misconception that eating healthy is extremely expensive, and it doesn't have to be. So one thing I would recommend, anywhere that you can buy like frozen produce, like frozen fruits, frozen vegetables, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be at a lower price point than getting it fresh. Same thing with like chicken or fish, lean meats like that. Try to get it frozen so that way you can kind of keep it for a longer period of time. I would also recommend meal prepping, which I know can be like daunting, but it literally saves so much money. You make a big meal at the beginning of the week, and that's going to be what you're going to eat on. Now, if you don't like leftovers, it might not work out for you, but I do leftovers just because, one, it saves money, and I can easily make, something in the crock pot, or I can do like a sheet pan meal and with chicken breasts, and then I have my frozen veggies and some rice. Super, super simple, kind of like setting a budget and keeping some staple items in your home and just building simple meals off of that. Eating healthy doesn't have to be, you have to go out and get, scallops and shrimp and, fresh cut salmon and fresh avocado. You don't have to do all those different things. They have frozen options. And so that's something that I would recommend. I am by no means balling at any point. Like, I just want to throw that out there, but I definitely set a budget for groceries and do the best that I can, get things like canned beans, rice, like I said, frozen fruits and vegetables, just because they last longer and they're a little bit cheaper. And then, where I do kind of like spend a little bit more might be on like the meats and things like that. But I'll get frozen chicken, I'll get frozen salmon, shrimp, whatever it is. That way it lasts for a while. And then also like making recipes that you can make bulk of. So that way you can make a lot of it. It goes a long way. Keeping it simple. I would say keep it simple. Don't feel like you have to like be this elaborate chef. I know social media sometimes makes it look like it's almost impossible or unattainable to eat healthy, but keeping it super, super simple and quick and easy, I think, is the best way to kind of eat healthy when you are on a budget that way. And again, like keeping some simple staples. So things like apples and bananas typically don't go bad too quickly. Bananas kind of do, but like things like apples and oranges. So buying those produce items that do last a little bit longer, I would say is also like a good idea. And then if you do have to purchase processed food, which again, we cannot escape processed food. Like it's almost inevitable that we're going to purchase something. Just reading the food labels and just making sure you're selecting a better option of the processed item than, the thing that has like a ton of sugar and things like that. A rule of thumb, something I recently learned, is when you're reading a label, you want to look at the first 3 ingredients. If the first 3 ingredients are like, whole grain, water, flour, okay, cool. More than likely it's going to have a lot more natural ingredients in it than if the first 3 ingredients are a bunch of like words that have prefixes and suffixes like this long. So just reading those food labels too. Yeah.
Good to know.
I hope that answered your question.
It's good. And when you make your budget for the grocery store, add a couple coins, because I went to the store and I was like, wait a minute, prices have been going up. He said great advice. So also, and that's a big thing too. When, whether it's a healthy version of something or the unhealthy version of something or whatever it is in the store, prices are going up. So like really just doing it, and you find what it is that you like. It's not saying that you gotta eat the same thing over and over again, because you could definitely put a little pizzazz on something, like, oh, I could hook that up a different way. Like my favorite thing in my kitchen is my air fryer. It used to be our crock pot. I still love my crock pot. But that air fryer, I put something in there, it's done in no time. And I like it because it's not really fried. It's not greasy. It was funny. I went somewhere and I had something that was fried. And I was like, oh, it's about to get me, because it was grease on the things that sort. What I have, I don't have oil in my house. I actually bought oil today, and I don't know why I really bought it, because I don't fry things. I have to have a taste for something fried for me to fry it. I prefer baked and that crock pot, grilled, things of that sort. Because to me, I like it better. Not it's definitely healthier because with the grease of things. Because what I had, and when I went to heat it up, all this grease was coming off. I was like, "Dang, go on, Jennifer, you look so
like
good."
Wipe it off to eat
but
it.
Sometimes you do want something, so you go ahead and you get it. So that's the piece of, again, knowing what works for you. And I know people would say, like, well, back in the day, I'm not sure they had a lot of fast food restaurants. Our mamas and them, they made it off of cooking those meals.
They cooked.
And ironically, when you cook a meal and you sit down and eat that thing, you be like, wait, this was more fulfilling. Now, again, if you go to a restaurant that does all the lavish things, then you're great. But like the fast food places, sometimes it's more temporal than it is long term. A lot of times they be like, I went to a Chinese restaurant. I'm hungry an hour later. It didn't stick to your bones. It didn't stick nowhere. It just went right on out. So that's another benefit of having that home cooked meal. And that meal prep is definitely amazing. I like it.
Especially if you're busy, if you work a lot, if you have kids. I don't have kids, but I know I don't like to stand over the stove every single day. Like I'm not cooking every day. So if you can make something, not only does it save you money to not have to like eat out every day or not have to like cook every day, but saves you time. You have more time to like come home after work and like unwind and do something that you enjoy, which you might enjoy cooking, but you just get more time back too. So
absolutely. And that's why I like the crock pot, because I can put it in by the time I get home. It's just ready. I just make my sides. And things to serve. But meal prep is definitely good. I work downtown. In the Center City area of Philadelphia. And if you don't pack your lunch, the world is your oyster and finding somewhere to go. But they're not going to get my money. So I try to pack my lunch. And, it was a time where I did like a prep of breakfast for the week, boiled eggs, things sort of those sausage things of sort. There was salads for the week and things of that sort. And surprisingly, it wasn't, how you feel like you get tired of something? I didn't get tired. Maybe because I knew I was saving money. I felt like this was you going to eat, Jennifer. You're not going nowhere. But I still was, excited about it because I took my time in doing it. And sometimes when you take your time to do something, you appreciate it a little bit more. And you know what your end goal is. You're trying to save some coins. You're trying to eat a little healthier. And you really enjoy it. And even like you come home for dinner, you got someone already prepped too. And the thing is with meal prep, you make a couple items where it's not actually the same thing every day. But like you said, chicken one day, turkey another day, meatloaf another day, whatever it is.
Variety.
Yes.
And another thing with meal prep, just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, you're cooking your own food. You're also aware of the amount of ingredients that are going into your meals. So although, you go out to eat, it's more than likely going to have high sodium. When you cook at home, you can manage the level of salt that you have. You can manage the level of oil, whatever seasonings, including like sauces and things like that. So although in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm still making spaghetti. It's like, well, you knew exactly what you put in that spaghetti. You know how much sugar's in the sauce, etc. When you go out to eat, you have no idea how much it is. You don't even know the portion size of it. Like, most times you go out to eat, it's like a large portion. So you can kind of, divvy that out amongst yourself and then have like a general idea of like knowing, okay, I'm within the confines of like this much of these ingredients in the confines of these portion sizes. And that just kind of helps like just make things a little bit smaller.
Absolutely. And substitutions, it surprises you. I did a spaghetti and I had the noodles it was like a gluten-free something. So it was like cauliflower with flour and a fava bean or something. Now, granted, they were not noodles. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't stay together like noodles. They like actually like broke up and things that sort. But it was still filling. And it was a good substitute if you didn't want to have so much of the starches and things of that sort. But I also found from my nutritionist that starch is not always bad for you. You can have some starch. But it's okay to switch it up sometimes. People are like, I can't have rice. Cauliflower rice is not too bad either. Try it out. So knowing your options. But again, you know what you put in there. I went to the store today and I bought some bacon. I was like, I gotta save some bacon. And they had like the regular one, then they had a lower sodium. I was like, I'm not gonna know the difference. One, I don't eat it that often. I can get the lower sodium and it's still healthier for me. So trying the options that do have lower. Yeah. And I'm not doing no sugar-free. That's Jennifer.
I feel like if you're gonna get sugar-free,
it depends. I take it back. I'm sorry, it depends.
Okay,
not sugar-free syrup. I don't know. I don't know if I have sugar-free syrup.
Let me tell you something that might have you reconsidering and just buying the regular things. So when it comes to reading labels and they have sugar-free this, low-fat this, and it's like low something, free something, they have to fill it up with other things. So if it's sugar-free, it's probably going to have more fat in it. If it's fat-free, it's going to have more sugar in it just for the taste aspect. So they put those labels on there. Those are what you call false or like phony health foods. So the label is there just to kind of attract you, like thinking it's a better option. Same thing with diet soda. they took something out and added more of another processed ingredient in it. So,
Kalene, you messing us up now because we thought we was doing. I don't do diet soda either. I don't really do soda. I do like a sparkling water. Because I feel like that give me enough. But we thought we was doing something. My friends, I'm talking on behalf of my friends now. They had sugar-free, they had Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, Diet whatever they wanted. And now you're telling us that they took it out and put someone else did it, and I might as well just have the regular ones, what you saying?
Yep.
I feel like Dr. Kalene said, I'm teasing.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google that too, but yes, like you might as well just get the regular thing because first of all, when it has free this and free that, it don't even taste good. At least in my opinion, it's like you might as well get the real thing and just eat, a small portion of it and be done with it. Yeah. When you're eating all these like sugar-free things, low fat, low this and that, they're just full of a bunch of other processed ingredients that your body is not going to recognize, and then it's going to just react really weird. So just some food for thought. Just be mindful of that. Again, they put labels on things to attract you to buy. It's all marketing, and people don't know this, and they buy it blindly without knowing. So
yeah, I will say, like I did this thing one time where I was like, trying to like remove sugars and things of that sort, or whatever I was removing. Nevertheless, I had a taste for peanut butter. I went and bought some peanut butter, and it was funny because it was like they had like a less something of that too, or like a natural one and things that sort of different options. I got what I knew, my Jif or my Skippy, whichever one it was. And when I went to go eat, I was like, this is so sweet. And it's amazing when you take something out of your diet and then you add it back in. Sometimes you don't have to have the same version per se. You can get like that knock because you're not going to know the difference. And sometimes you realize this is a little sweeter than what I thought it was. And again, those labels let you know what's in stuff.
Absolutely.
Jeannie said, that's right. I don't like sugar-free. And again, please hear me loud and clear, friends. Some medical conditions do cause for you to have sugar-free.
Correct.
I'm not knocking it. Do what your doctor say.
Right.
Do what your doctor say. Don't say she said don't. No. You do what your doctor say and you do what works for your body.
Case by case.
Case by case. But it's sometimes that you can have something just in moderation. And I think that's what messes us up because we turn into a smorgasbord and we get too excited because I could have it. I could do it. I'm grown. Remember, I'm grown. You are grown, but you also are tasked. You also are tasked to take care of your body, and taking care of your body is being mindful of what it is that you're putting in. Okay, so we have another question. It said, my apologies if this was discussed earlier and I missed it, but what are your thoughts on meal frequency? This is a good one. I did have this one coming up. I feel like, is it better to have 3 meals a day or more of smaller meals each day? So 5, for example, instead of 3. This is a good one.
Yes, that is a great question. And honestly, it just depends on the person. So my rule of thumb, especially when I'm working with like my clients, as long as you're getting the amount of calories that you need for sustaining yourself or for whatever goals that you have, because of course everyone's their caloric needs are going to be different. It really doesn't matter because sometimes you can get the calories that you need in eating breakfast, lunch, dinner. Sometimes you can get the calories that you need by eating like maybe 2 meals and a couple of snacks throughout the day. And then of course you want it to fit your lifestyle. So say if you're super, super busy, you don't have a lot of time to sit down and eat, a big meal, smaller meals throughout the day that are like easy to transport, easy to kind of like pop in the microwave or just have something to quickly grab and go might be better than, someone who might have a bit more time on their hands and can actually sit down and have like a full-fledged meal. So I think it honestly depends on like what your lifestyle is, what you have time for. But yeah, as long as and then your appetite as well. Everybody won't be able to eat 3 full meals a day. I don't even get in 3 full meals a day. Sometimes I might have 2 meals, and I guess I consider snacks like a meal, but like a full sit down meal. I might have like a couple snacks in between there. But yeah, it just kind of depends again on your appetite, your lifestyle, and then what your calorie needs are. So if you can get the calories in by eating 3 meals or like 2 meals and a snack, that's fine. Just make sure you get it in.
Yeah, I call it like the mommy syndrome. Like, if you're around a mom, she has a bag, she has some snacks in it because the baby's going to get hungry. And it's the importance of sometimes having a snack because you never know when you're going to get hungry if you can be around food. I carry like an applesauce around. I don't know. It's just like in case I need it for snack things because you never know where you are, where you baby. And again, I'm trying not to spend money outside of the house. I got food at home.
Yes. All 2022, there's food at home.
I got food at home. Now, if I didn't take out the freezer, that's a different situation. But we're gonna defrost. That's also another sign of adulting.
Yes.
I said that the other week. I hadn't taken something out. I was like, I'm adult and strong. I'm defrosted. Because you know what we do? I didn't take it out. It's frozen. I can't eat it. Let me just, sis, defrost that. Put that in, get that together so you can cook that. Defrost is not a bad word, friends. So doing snacks can help you. Something else you said that I wanted to, snacks, calories. How do you know if you're getting enough calories in a day?
So using apps that can track your food are a really good starting point. So a lot of my clients, we use an app and you kind of put in what your goals are. So whether that is to gain lean muscle mass, lose body fat, or kind of maintain the level that you're at, that number is going to kind of fluctuate. So either a nutritionist is going to be able to set that for you based on the goals that you have, or you can use a standard, tracking app just to kind of put in something general. And it's also kind of based on your activity level as well. So someone who's more active, they're going to have a higher caloric allotment because they're burning more calories. Their body's going to need more fuel versus someone who might be more sedentary. Their calories are going to be a little bit lower. So I would either use a food tracking app. They have a whole bunch. I use First Form, which is a great tracking app, not to plug that, but I use First Form. You can also use MyFitnessPal. I know if you have a Fitbit, the Fitbit app that you can track through, you can like log your food in there. Like I said, you can just set whatever your goals are and it'll kind of give you like a generic rough estimate about, how many calories that you need. But most people on average, if they aren't, in any extreme health situation, probably going to be between I would say like 15 to 1900 depending. And then sometimes people are like 1900 to 2300. And some people might be on like a 3000 calorie, caloric needs for the day. So it kind of just depends on like who the person is, what their goals are, kind of what their overall health situation looks like. But you want to make sure that you're not eating under, because a lot of people I think don't get enough calories throughout the day, which is why sluggish, tired, brain fog, like no energy. Because sometimes you might eat once a day and that you're probably eating less than 1,000 calories and that's not good. So yeah.
Yes, I agree, Phil. Eating healthy is a full-time job. Eating period sometimes, because like you get lazy, you get lazy, you don't feel like cooking. Or you feel like what you have you don't want. And that's why I say you got food at home, you make it work. And I find myself to be actually happier sometimes when I be like, I did that, when you cook something, you're like, okay, I should have did that. Because again, you're putting your time into it, your effort in it, you're actually trying something, new. Don't try something on somebody else if you ain't got it tried and true for you though, because they might hurt your feelings. But having that opportunity is self-care. That's that love for yourself, me, myself, and I, taking care of me, taking a moment to make sure that that meal is taken care of. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I also want to highlight, friends, a while ago we talked about making sure that getting our money's worth, and we had HR specialist on it. We talked about how our benefits, through our job allows us to go to the doctor, go to the dentist, go to specialists and things. And one of those specialists is a nutritionist. So really schedule an appointment that you can do because you're already paying for it. We talk about, and you meet with the nutritionist and you go through like what a meal prep will look like, what the plan will look like, what your goal is, so that you know what's good. Because another thing is the apps are great, but if you don't know what a serving size is, it's not going to calculate the way that you really want it to calculate. So they have some tools and things to give you. I feel like a nutritionist is probably one of the most underutilized doctors as well, along with that EAP, that therapy. But make sure that we are getting our money's worth because we're paying for this service. And you can, have somebody talk to you one-on-one to get through that plan to figure out what it is that you should be doing to help you be the best version of you.
I second that.
Oh, goodness. We talked about... how often should one, I don't know if we said this, but how often should one engage in physical activity?
Every single day.
No time off. Eating healthy, a full-time job now. I'm teasing.
So
every single day, but what does that look like?
So let's kind of like recap the differences between like physical activity and like in high intensity exercise. So physical activity is something as general as going for a walk. most adults need between 30 to 60 minutes every single day of some moderate to high intensity exercise. And now when I say every day, most times, when you're going to the grocery store or, running errands, that's physical activity. You're moving your body. If you, go take a dance class or go do yoga, or your kid does karate or whatever that is, that's physical activity.
Yes.
Now, when you actually hit the gym and use equipment and you have a structured 45 to 60-minute workout, that's more, vigorous exercise there. And that's depends on what your goals are. So if your goals are kind of just maintain a general level of fitness, 3 times a week. If you're looking to really transform your physical body, probably 4 to 5 times a week. Now you can also do active recovery days, but you're still moving on those days. So those days aren't I'm going to go for a walk just to get my body warm. Then I'm going to do yoga and really stretch, work on some flexibility and mobility there, but you're still being active. So now there are some days where you might just want to be a complete couch potato. I would probably give yourself 1 day a week of that. Anything else, we need to be constantly moving, because what I like to tell people, things that stay stagnant, it does not yield life. When water is still, usually it's going to have that algae and bacteria on it. When milk has been sitting too long, it gets chunky and rotten, So not to view your body in how you would view milk or water, but it's when things are constantly in motion, things are flowing, that means it's goodness happening. When your digestion is flowing, you're going to the bathroom more frequently, so your digestion is good. When your blood is able to flow through everything properly, it gets to where the organs that it needs to get to. When you have a clogged artery, it doesn't allow flow. And when things get backed up and still, that causes some issues. So I kind of like to think of it in that manner of, no, we're not machines, but our bodies were meant to be moving. They're not meant to just be still and sedentary 24/7. So I would give yourself 1 complete rest day of doing absolutely nothing, but probably 6 out of 7 days of the week, you should be doing something every single day.
Yes. And it's the smallest things, the little adjustments. I have a friend pre-COVID. We would go to the store, whatever. She's like, why you park so far away? So we can walk, get a little time. And they roll their eyes, things. But, it's the little things that you do that helps you to build up and things that sort.
Yeah.
Taking the stairs
over the elevator.
It's the little things that do add up. Okay.
Absolutely.
6 days, friends. 6 days. 6 days.
And again, it can be fun. Just go for it. If you have kids, play with them at the park. Don't, if you can. Now, if you physically are unable, then I understand that. But if you can, don't sit on the bench and watch. Go play with them. They'll love it. You'll get, some movement. You get your steps and get your heart rate up there. If you like to take pole dancing, go take a pole class. If you like salsa or Pilates or yoga or Zumba, it's step aerobics is a big popular aerobic type of fitness now. So go do that. I always tell people, do what you enjoy. If you don't like going to the gym, that's not your vibe, then don't go to the gym. But if you love Zumba or if you love yoga, go do more of that. Just get yourself moving in what you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like it's a chore, and you actually look forward to doing it, and it'll just become easier to want to do because you like it.
And that's it. The importance of being able to do something. One, and I love the part of the park with the kids because they'll enjoy, but that's also a memory that you're creating. My mom, my dad was interactive with me while we were doing something. That means the world. You'd be surprised how that lasts on for memories to come. But that piece of, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. I do, I like some YouTube videos. Now, again, as I shared before we came on, I like going for walks in the neighborhood because, you just get this outside, fresh air, things of that sort. But one of the guys that I watch, he has somewhere has that generic music, whatever, but he also has some now where he has some singers, where it's they're Best of Whitney or Bruno Mars, something like that. So then you're jamming while you're doing it. And then you don't even realize that you then did it for 45 minutes because you was jamming I'm not going to sing one of the songs because they're going to be trying to judge me.
You should give us a little piece.
What's I can't figure out Bruno's song now. But then Whitney, she's like, I want to dance with somebody. You be like, hey, I want to dance.
Exactly.
And you don't even know. You're like, hey, with somebody who, and you're just going through and going. It's wow, it's all already. Let me do it again. Kidding, I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
But you did it for that day and you got active. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's about, friends, and as you share, sometimes you'll be coming from something hey, I'm gonna just go to the store. Don't have to buy anything from the store, but just going up every aisle, walking through the store helps you to get active. And that's share. If you don't use it, you don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose it, because then that's a whole nother situation. So
Either that or
it don't lift up.
Exactly. Either that or you get to a point where like you have to sit down. And now you're like, like I remember when I was able to and now I can't. So I always tell people, I'm like, if you have the physical ability to do it, please do, because there are some people who are born with disabilities and they can't move, or they might have gotten to an accident or they gotten sick and now they're debilitated by things. And it's like, don't take your ability to move and your health for granted now, because you never know like what could happen. Like literally thank your body for the ability to be able to move, and the fact that it's taking care of you by taking care of it. Moving and, being mindful of what you put inside.
This is a good one too. Phil said, what about people whose profession requires them to sit all day in front of a computer? What is a sufficient amount of movement that can combat that problem? What advice would you give those people?
That is a great question. And actually, I'm so happy you asked that. A lot, pretty much all of my clients have sedentary jobs. I guess I could even consider myself sedentary, because I would say an active job is like someone who's like working on a construction site or doing hard labor, or if you work in food and bev or retail, you're constantly moving. But if you have to sit down for any point in time, or you can't move like consistently all day, getting between 5,000 to 10,000 steps, most people are pretty sedentary. What I recommend for those things is like finding ways to kind of like get up. So I know some people have like standing desk versus sitting down. You can kind of stand, maybe taking like 10-minute breaks every hour or so, and just like go walk to the bathroom, go walk and fill your water bottle. I know some people will use their lunch break and go maybe like on a 30 or 45-minute walk with their coworkers or just with themselves. But just finding moments throughout the day where you can stand, maybe do some jumping jacks in your office, like do a couple of stretches. I know you can't do a full-blown workout, but just doing something to get your heart moving. Right. So I'm trying to get my blood flowing. Taking the long way. Like, I don't know if you have an office space, but maybe there's one bathroom that's further away than the next. Maybe go to the bathroom that takes a little bit longer to get there, or the water fountain that's a little bit further away. Same thing we said about parking a little bit further and walking, up to the door, things like that. Now, being sedentary throughout the day, if you have a full-time job that requires you to sit down, you can't, get around that. But that's why I would recommend maybe getting up a little bit earlier, maybe go for a walk before work. I know I have some people that will do that, and then they'll go to work and then they'll do their workout in the afternoon, or flipped it around. They'll do their workout in the morning, go to work, and go for a walk later in the afternoon. So you've had like your, 30 to 60 minutes of structured exercise, and then you have your other just like physical aerobic movement in other parts of the day. So just striving, maybe get a couple miles in. You can split it up. You can do some in the morning, some in the evening. But those are like honestly the best ways that I could say. Just maybe standing a bit more, just doing some type of movement like in your office space, walking a bit further away from, bathrooms or water fountains. Sedentary lifestyle isn't necessarily like avoidable, especially now with being still in a pandemic. A lot of people do still work from home. So just finding ways you can just kind of get up and do something for a few minutes. Just give yourself 5 to 10 minutes or 10 to 15.
Yeah, I think it's also about being intentional about it though, because I work from home, but we've been doing some in-office days and things, and I find that when I'm in the office, I don't get up not that I don't get up as much, but I don't take breaks as often. And sometimes make yourself take a break at home. You can always find somewhere, somebody at the door, a delivery up, this. I'm going to go make me a snack because it's food at home.
Right.
Whatever it is, like you can get distracted where you do a little bit more. So it's really just being intentional. My watch even tells me every so often, time to stand. Where I want you to stand and move and things like that. Because again, sitting for 3 hours straight, 4 hours straight, 5 hours straight can be a lot on your body. And you go to get up. If you're over 30, sometimes you might get a little snap, crackle, pop. And you want to be able to keep active in it. So it's really about being intentional. Definitely taking a longer walks. I definitely agree with that one. And it could be just as simple as standing up from your desk, stretching your arms, moving back. Oh, good stretch, and sitting right back down. They understand what you're doing because they've been sitting a long time too. They're like, oh, I need to do that too. Let me get up. So you might even start 5 minute, stand up, 5 second stand up, because we do need to do that. And again, we got to work that out.
Right. I love it.
That's a good one. Because as much as I like my favorite bathroom, I like to walk to the other one or another one because it's a little further away. And it helps me to, really take that moment. And if we're honest, sometimes we need that pause. If we're at work
Yes.
and we're going to the restroom, we're relieving ourselves, but we also could relieve our mind and relax,
Decompress.
relate a little bit and
Absolutely.
release some things, so that when we go back, we have maybe fresh eyes. Because sometimes I'm doing something, I'm like, I'm distracted, I can't get through it. I need to walk away from it. So
Yep.
again, taking those moments too. So walk away, come back again. Go in and check in with somebody. Hey, how you doing? Having a good day? How was your weekend? Cool. Go back to your seat and then get your things done. So whatever it
Yep.
is that
Hard
helps you out with
reset.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I try to insist you do it. I do better at home than I do in the office, but I'm trying to get better, especially since we've been going back. And as you said, this pandemic, because everybody put this pandemic 15, what they say, COVID 15.
Yeah.
Um, because we haven't been as active. We got used to being at home. We got used to not going out as much, and it is an adjustment. And now we have to be more intentional, which is why,
Right.
again, I gave y'all some months before we came back, before working out, because this is a part of loving on ourselves, friends.
Right.
We want to say that, yeah, I can do that. I was watching one of my favorite movies, 2 Weeks Notice, and she was like, yes, I'm flexible. I could have been fold into a press. So I was like, girl, you can do all that. But again, if you taking care of your body, you can do some things that you didn't know you could
Yeah.
do either. But you have to move. And it's the different,
Yes.
a zillion different ways that you can do that to keep yourself active.
Absolutely.
Good. So I did want to ask about, you have a merch line. Fix your attitude, change your outcome. How did that come about?
Yeah. So it came about in, I would probably say towards the end of 2020. That was like another transitional period of my life. And I, sometimes complain. Sometimes you're just like looking at all the negative aspects of things. And for me, especially as I'm a believer, I'm a Christ follower. So sometimes like things aren't always as they seem. Sometimes it could be, something that God is like placing in your life for a reason that's going to produce some life-giving fruit. And so when you take things in an approach of having a positive attitude, and not just always positive, but just saying like, I'm going to get something out of this, fixing that attitude, fixing your mindset, it kind of just shifts like the overall trajectory of like what that overall outcome is going to be. And so relating it specifically to exercise and fitness, when I'm training clients, say there's like a movement you don't want to do, like you don't want to do push-ups that day, you don't want to do sprints that day. I'm always like, fix your attitude. You came in here for a reason. Like, let's approach it with, I know it's going to be hard and challenging, but it's going to make me a better person. It's going to like benefit me in some way. And then now that you have this lighter approach, this better attitude towards whatever it is that you're doing, now you're like, okay, wow, I did that. And like, I see the benefits of it. I see like, now that I'm stronger, I challenged myself. I did something different and it benefited me in the long run. So not only with fitness, but it kind of equates to all aspects of life. A coworker you don't get along with, you hate going to work, but it's like, okay, I'm going to go into work today and just let my light shine. And like, whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm not approaching it like, oh, I'm dreading going here. It's like, I'm going to have a good day. Today is going to be, I'm going to influence someone, or like let my light shine, or just like let someone see the love of Christ in my heart, or whatever it is. So that's how it came about. And I always think that like wearing stuff across your chest, I'm actually wearing one of my shirts now.
Move this way a little bit.
Yeah, can you see it?
Okay, picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think like just wearing stuff across, I literally wear, like I have windbreakers, like t-shirts, hoodies. Whenever I go to the store, like my fiance will go to the store, I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Like, thank you for that shit, because I needed that reminder. Like I might've been having a bad day, but it's like, let me just like fix my attitude, like fix my mindset for a second. And that way you just become more pleasant, and it just makes things a little bit easier.
I'll never forget some years ago, a pastor that said, if I went to your job, would your coworkers know that you were saved? Would they know there's something different about you? Are you shining your light? And it's so important. And again, we're not perfect. Some days it's a rough day. But even in a rough day, they still should know a hint of, oh, you made it through. God helped you. How can you help me?
Give me a little bit of that. Right.
Yes, because that's what it's about, how to help somebody else. So it's really being mindful of that, friends, that whatever it is that we say we are, that we believe, that we really are working that thing out.
Amen.
Stay on it. If we fix our attitude, we can change the outcome. And that's so important too, because again, if our attitude is sour, it's going to be a sour day. But power and death lies in the power of our tongue.
Yes.
Got to make that adjustment. What brings you the most joy about what you do?
I would say just seeing people progress. When I'm working with someone, or say somebody like I don't have to work with you specifically, but if you DM me and ask me a question, like, oh my gosh, like, I learned that from you, or, oh, like, I remember you said this about like how to fix my form in this, or I remember you mentioned this about nutrition, like, just knowing like I was able to help someone and they applied it and bettered them, and they're like, thank you so much, because I needed that. That just like pours so much into me, because it's like I am just kind of like doing what I do for work, but it's just impacting so many people. Or, someone's like, oh my gosh, like, I can sleep better now. Like, I actually have a client, she has PCOS and she hasn't had a cycle for, I think, 3 years. And she's been working with me for a couple months, and she got her first cycle a month ago. And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you, because like I want to be able to have children. I want to be able to regulate this. And so not that like I directly did anything, but from her working with me, getting into a routine, now her body is like adjusting as it needs to for, the processes it needs to, potentially make a baby one day. And so things like that are just so rewarding. Like, it literally just comes down to like helping someone in an area that they're struggling with means more to me than anything. And if it provides them with life and happiness and joy, then it's like, I did my job. And that's what helps me get up at 4 a.m. every single day. Cause I am not a morning person, but just, knowing that I'm going to be there to like help uplift someone and provide them that support that they need and that they're comfortable with. I love all of that. So.
I don't even know if my eyes open to see at 4 o'clock in the morning. If they do, I'm going to say a prayer for you. I'm like, Lord bless her that she got up on time. Let me get a couple more. I'm going to get my naps in for her right now.
Right. You get used to it after a while.
I believe it. And that's, again, that 21 days, after 21 days, it's like a norm. And if you don't do it, you feel the difference of not doing it. And that's why it's important to be consistent.
Exactly.
Okay. What's something that you want us to walk away with tonight?
I want everyone to walk away with knowing that do the best that you can. Don't try to compare your journey to anyone else's. If where your starting point is maybe getting in a 15-minute walk every single day, start there. But just start. Just do something. Do a little bit, and then do a little bit more, and do a little bit more. And then as you, again, start to build that routine and consistency, then you can start to add a bit more to your plate. Start to kind of, explore a full-blown workout, or explore weightlifting, etc. But don't feel that because you don't look like what you might see on TV or Instagram or whatever, that fitness is unattainable for you. Fitness is for everybody. It's literally for us to be healthy. So whatever you can do more of that.
So good. Thank you so much. Hold on. I have to go to the comment section for a second. Phil, mind your business. Now, if I get up if you call me, Phil, I'll wake up. But you got to get up too. It's got to be a partnership. I'm being accountable. You be
accountability partner, yes.
And I was actually going to say that. And it's funny. I have my barber. He was like, you go to the gym. I was like, when you go to the gym? He was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, what? 4 o'clock in the morning. Now you saw my 4. He saw my 4. I'm not bothering any of y'all. But I'm gonna give you a wake up call, Phil. At 4 a.m. 3:59. I don't know what day it is because I gotta wake up. But the importance of, having that accountability. So any of my friends that are watching, if you are trying to do something in this field and you want accountability, let me know. I hope you stay on top of your game. I have some people that I stay accountable to. I'll be of support to you. I'll send a message. Hey, how's it coming along? I do calendar reminders, and then I check in like, hey, how's this coming along? So let me know. I got you covered to be of that support to you. So if you, Cindy, don't pay him no mind, Dr. C. Unless you want to get up at 4. I call all y'all. I do it. I'm gonna call you and Phil. 3:59. I got y'all. Y'all want to wake up? See, I can't. My phone's been acting up lately for some reason.
Of course.
All right. See, they don't even want accountability. I'm trying to help us love ourselves a little bit better. Wait a minute.
Maybe like not 4, maybe like 6 a.m.
Wait a minute. Don't worry. I'll touch you tomorrow bright and early at 4:30 instead of 4. So ironically, I keep my phone on silent, and people get so upset with me that I keep it on silent. I was like, I'll hear it or not hear it.
Quality sleep is also another aspect of, health and fitness. You want to try to get between 7 to 8 hours every single night if you can. And so turning off all those distractions and keeping them away from you so your body can actually like unwind and like kind of turn off for some time is what you need. The overstimulation is what keeps us up and what kind of takes away from getting good rest that we need. So
I'm gonna try. See, what happens is I like Korean drama, and if I find a new show, they're like 40 minutes, 45 minutes long, and then I gotta watch a couple episodes because I feel like I'm committed. And then it's like 16 episodes, so I feel like I gotta watch it within a certain amount of days or something. And then one, it was like 33 episodes, so that took away my life. But if I watching it, it messes me up. And then the other night, I went to watch Cinderella again, like Jennifer. It's 3:00 in the morning. You gotta go to church tomorrow, sunshine. Go to bed.
Right.
But the importance of going to bed, that's really, really important. So friends, please, please, please do that. We have another question. If you have any other questions, please do drop them in. She said, Sandra said, what about exercising before bed? Is that good or bad?
It's fine. I actually worked out, let's see, last week around like 9 p.m. That was just the only time that I had that day to get it done. And I mean, it might take a little bit of time depending on what you're doing to kind of like unwind, but you're going to sleep really well.
Yeah,
you know, and it's honestly just like fitting it in wherever you can, but it's not going to affect anything, honestly. So there's no right or wrong time of day to exercise. Just like kind of get it in when you can.
Got it. Yeah. And again, YouTube is your friend. If you can't get out, if you can't afford the gym, if you can't afford a trainer right now, they have some low maintenance. You have a YouTube channel too.
Yeah, I do, but I don't post on it as much as I should. I'm mostly on Instagram, working on getting towards that though. It's just like trying to balance a lot. And like right now, Instagram is like where it's kind of growing. So I'm kind of like curating that.
Because as you get that, then it go over. I got it.
Exactly. Yes.
But again, you can't Google it again. And if you want accountability, I'm holding y'all to it. I got your back. Not that 3:00, 4:00. They playing games in the chat panel right now. But you know, I'll share some videos with you too that I have found to be great. Somewhere you could sit down and work out. I was surprised, you know. She was like, "Yeah, sit down. You're still doing stuff because you're still moving. You got to do what works best for your body."
Absolutely.
Yes, but cool. She said, "Oh, to sleep." She said, "Airplane mode going low at 9:10 p.m. the latest. No interruptions allowed." And that's it. And again, that's loving on you too. You have to set boundaries of how much you could do in a day. Because if you did get your workout in and you did everything else you're supposed to do for that day, you could be a little tired. You might, you know, get that nap award. You want to be able to take some moment to, you know, to rest and really listening to your body. Because there's some days that I've been going hard and things that started off like, I can't do that video today. And I slept and I didn't wake up till like the next morning. Your body was tired. Listening to your body is really important. But making sure that you are moving to not stay still too long.
Absolutely.
You don't want to lose it.
Right.
Oh, this is really good. It was so nice to meet you.
It was nice meeting you as well. Thank you.
To share about your product line and things that I'll probably share it tomorrow when I do our quote of the day, so that people can know how they can pick it up. Because if we change our attitude, what is it?
Fix your attitude, change your outcome.
Fix your attitude, change your outcome. And that's what it's all about. My little screen is messing up with me. But that's what we got to do to make sure that we work it out. And we can do it, friends. I believe in you. You believe in me. We're all a part of that's a song. All right. We got to go. Thank you so much again for joining us on tonight. This was amazing. Again, I'm going to share contact information. If you're my friend on Facebook, you'll be able to see her information so that you can follow her page to see the different tidbits that she's sharing. As she shares, you know, people will send her questions, so you can ask some more questions if you have them.
Yes.
But then you can also go back and say, I listened to you and I did it, and these are my results. Okay?
I would love to hear any success stories. Please share them all.
Yes. And whatever it looks like, it's different for everybody. So again, thank you so very much for joining us. So nice to meet you. I'll definitely be in touch for different things. I'm going to get me a shirt too, because sometimes I got to remind myself to fix my attitude, because again, sometimes it's a good day. Sometimes it's a bad day. Sometimes you need to take a nap.
Right. And I will be that person taking a nap.
Oh, this was cool. This is cool. Thank you again so much, man. You have a great, great evening.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome. That was so cool. We had Kalene Parker, also known as Cut by K Fitness. I think that's right. But I'm going to post it so that you can find out, because she's doing some amazing things on Instagram, sharing some amazing messages. And that's what we all want to know, what's going on in the world. Don't forget our quote of the day. Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit. And that is a quote by Wilma Rudolph, who was also our Black History Fact of the Day. So yeah, special thanks to Wilma Rudolph. She did amazing things. Her story is amazing. She made an imprint in this world, and that's what we're about doing as well. Doing something amazing to help somebody else, because it's not all about us. What does the comment say? Thanks. Great. Cool. I'm glad you all enjoyed that. Next week, we're going to do a little different. It's going to be a flashback. I got something special for y'all. I'm working on it. I think you all are going to enjoy it. So be sure to join us next Monday at 8 or catch the replay, because I know some people have love is in the air. Whatever you're doing, rock out, be great. Make sure that you're loving on you, most importantly. That is all that I have for you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I love you all for real. Good night.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and, most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here, as we specialize in bringing the community to you.